Terry, the fire-breathing T-Rex from the Dinosaur King anime show, was always known for his impressive and powerful fire-breathing attacks. As a member of the fire element, his abilities were unmatched by any other dinosaur in the series. One day, Terry was called upon by the Alpha Gang team members to showcase his fire-breathing attacks in a fierce battle against their opponents. The team members watched in awe as Terry unleashed his first attack, Volcano Burst. As he focused his fiery gaze on his target, fireballs began to form in his eyes. With a mighty roar, Terry breathed fire onto the ground, creating a fiery pathway that spread towards the opponent. The flames engulfed the dinosaur, turning it into a card in an instant. But Terry was not done yet. He followed up with his blazing spin attack, where he spit fireballs from his mouth and used his fiery jaws to grab the opponent. With a swift spin, he completely engulfed the enemy in flames before releasing his grip, leaving nothing but a card in his wake. Next, Terry unleashed his burning dash attack, where he grabbed the opponent in his jaws and rammed them into a wall. As he breathed fire from his jaws, the opponent was held momentarily until they transformed into a card, defeated by Terry's fiery power. As the Alpha Gang team members cheered on their powerful dinosaur, Terry continued to showcase his fire-breathing abilities. He used his fire bomb attack, jumping high into the air and falling down on the opponent while holding a fireball in his mouth, crushing them into a card upon impact. The team members marveled at Terry's fire cannon attack, as he spat fireballs like a dragon, shooting them at the opponent and engulfing them in flames until they turned into a card. But it was his strongest attack, Fire Scorcher, that truly impressed them. With a roar, Terry emitted an oversized burning meteor from his mouth, instantly defeating the opponent and turning them into a card. But Terry was not the only one with impressive fire-breathing abilities. Gigas, the T-Rex clone of Terry, showcased his own powers with attacks like Spectral Cancer and Jerk Armor. Using his purple glowing eyes, he summoned armor around himself and generated sharp-bladed spikes, pointing forward to stab his opponent until they too turned into a card. As the battle raged on, Terry and Gigas unleashed even more powerful fire-breathing attacks, leaving a trail of defeated opponents in their wake. The Alpha Gang team members were in awe of their dinosaurs' strength and power, as they continued to dominate the battlefield with their fiery abilities. In the end, Terry and Gigas stood victorious, their opponents defeated and turned into cards at their feet. The Alpha Gang team members praised their dinosaurs for their incredible fire-breathing powers, knowing that they were truly unstoppable in battle. Terry and Gigas roared triumphantly, basking in their well-deserved victory as the flames of their fiery attacks flickered and danced in the air around them. Words. 505. In the heart of the Amazon rainforest, the Alpha Gang team members gathered around Terry, the fire-breathing T-Rex from the hit anime show, Dinosaur King. Terry was known for his fierce fire attacks, and today he was ready to show off his latest move, the Volcano Burst. As the team watched in awe, Terry's eyes began to glow with a fiery intensity. Small fireballs formed in his mouth, growing larger with each passing second. With a fierce roar, Terry unleashed a torrent of flames onto the ground, creating a fiery pathway that shot towards his opponent. The flames spread rapidly, engulfing the opposing dinosaur in a sea of fire. Within moments, the opponent had been turned into a card, ready for Terry to claim as his victory. The Alpha Gang team members cheered in excitement, impressed by Terry's power. But Terry was not done yet. He had more fire-breathing attacks up his sleeve, each one more powerful than the last. The blazing spin attack saw Terry grab his opponent with his fiery jaws, spinning them around until they were completely engulfed in flames. The burning dash involved ramming the opponent into a wall while breathing fire from his jaws, ensuring their defeat. As the battles raged on, Terry continued to showcase his arsenal of fiery moves. The fire bomb had him jumping high into the air, holding a fireball in his mouth as he crashed down onto his opponent. The fire cannon saw him spitting out fireballs like a dragon, shooting them at his opponents with deadly accuracy. But it was the Fire Scorcher that truly struck fear into the hearts of his enemies. With a mighty roar, Terry summoned an oversized burning meteor from his mouth, hurling it at his opponent with devastating force. The opposing dinosaur stood no chance, turning into a card in an instant. As Terry dominated the battlefield with his fire-breathing prowess, Gigas, the T-Rex clone of Terry, stepped up to showcase his own abilities. Spectral Cancer and Jerk Armor were two of his most powerful moves, using his purple glowing eyes to summon armor and sharp spikes to defeat his opponents. The battles raged on, each one more intense than the last. Terry and Gigas continued to impress the Alpha Gang team members with their incredible fire attacks, leaving their opponents in awe of their power. And as the sun set on the Amazon rainforest, Terry and Gigas stood victorious, their fiery reign unchallenged. The Alpha Gang team members knew that with Terry and Gigas on their side, they were unstoppable. And as they prepared for their next battle, they knew that their fire-breathing dinosaurs would lead them to victory once again. The thrill of the battles and the excitement of the fire-breathing attacks kept them on the edge of their seats, eager for the next challenge that lay ahead. Words. 477. It was a bright and sunny day in the lush jungle where the Alpha Gang team members were gathered to witness Terry, the fire-breathing T-Rex from the Dinosaur King anime show, showcase his impressive fire-breathing attacks. The team members were all eager to see the powerful abilities of Terry in action, as they had heard tales of his legendary fire-breathing prowess. Terry stood tall and proud, his fiery red scales gleaming in the sunlight as he prepared to unleash his first fire-breathing attack, Volcano Burst. With a fierce growl, Terry's eyes began to glow with an intense fiery light as he generated fireballs in his mouth. Breathing fire onto the ground, he created a fiery pathway that propagated towards the opponent, engulfing them in flames and turning them into a card in an instant. The Alpha Gang team members watched in awe as Terry unleashed another fire-breathing attack, Blazing Spin Attack. This time, he generated fireballs in his mouth and used his fiery jaws to grab hold of the opponent, spinning them in his jaws and completely engulfing them in flames. When he released his grip, the opponent had been turned into a card, defeated by Terry's fiery power. Next, Terry demonstrated his burning dash attack, where he generated fireballs in his mouth and grabbed the opponent in his fiery jaws, ramming them into the wall. Breathing fire from his jaws while still holding onto the opponent, he momentarily held them in place until they were completely turned into a card, defeated by the intense heat of Terry's flames. The Alpha Gang team members cheered as Terry continued to showcase his fire-breathing prowess, using attacks such as Fire Bomb, where he jumped high into the air and crashed down onto the opponent, Fire Cannon, where he spat out fireballs like a dragon, and Fire Scorcher, his strongest attack that involved emitting oversized burning meteors from his mouth to instantly defeat his opponent. As Terry unleashed attack after attack, the jungle shook with the power of his fiery abilities. The ground trembled beneath him as he summoned Heat Eruption, causing a massive volcanic eruption behind him and raining down burning lava rocks on his opponents. With each attack, Terry proved himself to be a formidable force to be reckoned with. But the showcase was not over yet, as Gigas, the T-Rex clone of Terry, stepped forward to show off his own fire-breathing powers. With his purple glowing eyes, Gigas summoned Jerk Armor, creating sharp-bladed spikes on his body to stab at his opponents until they were turned into cards. And with his Spectral Cancer attack, he unleashed a powerful blast of purple energy that left his opponents scorched and defeated. The Alpha Gang team members could hardly believe their eyes as Terry and Gigas displayed their incredible fire-breathing abilities. It was a sight to behold, a thrilling display of power and strength that left them in awe of the fire element dinosaurs in their midst. And as the sun set behind them, casting a fiery glow over the jungle, the Alpha Gang team members knew that they had witnessed something truly extraordinary on that day. Words. 525. The sun was setting over the lush green jungle as Terry, the fire-breathing T-Rex from Dinosaur King anime show belonging to the fire element, stood majestically in the clearing, his fiery eyes gleaming with power. The Alpha Gang team members watched in awe as Terry prepared to demonstrate his impressive fire-breathing attacks. "You guys ready for this?" Terry growled, his voice rumbling like thunder. "I'm about to show you the true power of the fire element." With a fierce roar, Terry unleashed his first attack, Volcano Burst. He focused his energy, generating fire in his eyes and then releasing a barrage of fiery fireballs that shot towards the ground, creating a blazing pathway that quickly reached the opponent. The flames engulfed the dinosaur opponent, turning it into a card in an instant. "Wow, that was amazing!" The Alpha Gang team members exclaimed in unison, clapping and cheering. But Terry was not done yet. He demonstrated his blazing spin attack, using his fiery jaws to grab the opponent and spin them around before releasing them, engulfing them in flames. The opponent turned into a card as the flames died down. Next, Terry showcased his burning dash, ramming the opponent into a wall and breathing fire from his jaws as he held them momentarily until they too turned into a card. "Fascinating," one of the Alpha Gang team members murmured, wide-eyed with admiration. Terry continued to impress with his firebomb attack, leaping high into the air and crashing down on the opponent with a fireball in his mouth, completely incinerating them and turning them into a card. As the Alpha Gang team members looked on in awe, Terry demonstrated his fire cannon, effortlessly spitting out fireballs like a dragon and shooting them at the opponent, engulfing them in flames until they too were reduced to a card. But the ultimate attack was yet to come. Terry unleashed his Fire Scorcher, emitting an oversized burning meteor from his mouth and hurling it at the opponent, instantly defeating them and turning them into a card in a spectacular display of power. As the smoke cleared, Terry let out a triumphant roar, his fiery breath lighting up the clearing in a brilliant display of strength. But just then, Gigas, the T-Rex clone of Terry, stepped forward, ready to showcase his own fire-breathing powers. With his purple glowing eyes, he summoned armor around himself in his Jerk Armor attack, before generating sharp-bladed spikes that pointed forward, ready to stab his opponent. "Behold the power of Gigas!" he bellowed, before unleashing his Spectral Cancer attack, using his eyes to summon a powerful blast of energy that overwhelmed his opponent, turning them into a card in a flash of light. The Alpha Gang team members gasped in amazement at the display of power, their eyes shining with excitement. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm glow over the clearing, Terry and Gigas stood side by side, their fiery breath lighting up the night sky in a dazzling display of power and strength. The Alpha Gang team members cheered and applauded, their faces filled with awe and admiration for the incredible fire-breathing dinosaurs before them. And as the night fell, Terry and Gigas stood tall, their fiery breath a testament to the power of the fire element that burned within them. The Alpha Gang team members knew they had witnessed something truly extraordinary, and they would never forget the incredible display of fire-breathing power that Terry and Gigas had shown them. And so, the fire element reigned supreme in the jungle, its power unmatched and its strength undeniable. Terry and Gigas stood as living legends, their fire-breathing attacks a testament to their indomitable spirit and unwavering power. As the stars twinkled overhead, casting a soft light over the clearing, Terry and Gigas stood proud and strong, their fiery breath lighting up the night in a display of power that would be remembered for eternity. Words. 660. The Alpha Gang team members were mesmerized as they watched Terry, the fire-breathing T-Rex from the Dinosaur King anime show, showcase his impressive fire-breathing attack types. His fiery attacks were unlike anything they had ever seen before, and they knew that Terry was a force to be reckoned with. Terry's first attack, Volcano Burst, was a sight to behold. He would generate fire in his eyes, creating fireballs that he would then breathe onto the ground. The fire would spread, creating a fiery pathway that would propagate until it reached his opponent, engulfing them in flames and turning them into a card in an instant. The power and precision of this attack left the Alpha Gang team members in awe. But Terry was not done yet. He had a whole arsenal of fire-breathing attacks at his disposal. His blazing spin attack involved generating fireballs in his mouth and using his fiery jaws to grab opponents, spinning them before releasing them in a burst of flames. His burning dash attack was equally devastating, as he would grab his opponent in his fiery jaws and slam them into a wall before breathing fire on them until they turned into a card. One of Terry's most impressive attacks was the fire bomb. He would generate fireballs in his mouth and jump high into the air, falling vertically onto his opponent while still holding the fireball in his mouth. The impact would completely engulf the opponent in flames, turning them into a card in a matter of seconds. The Alpha Gang team members could hardly believe their eyes as they witnessed the sheer power of Terry's fire-breathing abilities. As if that wasn't enough, Terry also had a fire cannon attack in his repertoire. He would simply spit out a fireball like a dragon, shooting it at his opponent and engulfing them in flames. But the strongest of Terry's fire-breathing attacks was the Fire Scorcher. He would emit an oversized burning meteor from his mouth, throwing it at his opponent with such force that they were instantly defeated and turned into a card. But Terry wasn't the only one with impressive fire-breathing abilities. His clone, Gigas, also had his own set of powerful attacks. The Spectral Cancer attack involved using his purple glowing eyes to summon armor around himself before generating sharp-bladed spikes that he would thrust at his opponents, turning them into cards with ease. The Jerk Armor attack was equally fierce, as Gigas would summon glowing purple spikes that pointed forward, ready to impale any opponent in his path. The battles between Terry, Gigas, and the Alpha Gang team members were intense and thrilling, with each fire-breathing attack adding a new level of excitement to the already action-packed showdown. The combination of creativity and power displayed by the dinosaurs left everyone on the edge of their seats, wondering what incredible feat they would witness next. In the end, Terry and Gigas emerged victorious, their fire-breathing abilities proving to be too much for the Alpha Gang team members to overcome. With a roar of triumph, the dynamic duo stood tall, their flames still burning brightly as a testament to their strength and power. And as they walked away, the Alpha Gang team members knew that they had witnessed something truly extraordinary, the unstoppable force of Terry and Gigas, the fire-breathing T-Rex and his clone, in all their fiery glory. Words. 567. In the lush, dense forests of the dinosaur world, a fierce battle was about to unfold. The Alpha Gang, a group of dinosaur hunters, were on a mission to capture the powerful Terry, the fire-breathing T-Rex from the Dinosaur King anime show. They had heard rumors of his incredible fire-breathing abilities and were determined to add him to their collection of powerful dinosaurs. As the Alpha Gang team members ventured deeper into the forest, they suddenly heard a loud roar echoing through the trees. Terry emerged from the shadows, his fiery red eyes glowing with power. The Alpha Gang team members marveled at his size and strength, but they knew they had to be cautious. Terry was not one to be underestimated. Terry wasted no time in showcasing his fire-breathing attacks to the Alpha Gang team members. He started with his signature move, the Volcano Burst. Flames erupted from his eyes, creating fiery fireballs that he hurled towards the ground. The fire spread like a wave, engulfing everything in its path and turning his opponents into cards with a single breath. The Alpha Gang team members watched in awe as Terry unleashed one devastating attack after another. His blazing spin attack was a sight to behold, as he grabbed his opponents in his fiery jaws and spun them around until they were completely engulfed in flames. The burning dash was equally impressive, as Terry rammed his opponents into walls and breathed fire on them until they were no more. But it was Terry's firebomb attack that truly stunned the Alpha Gang team members. He jumped high into the air, fireball still clenched in his jaws, and crashed down on his opponents with incredible force. The impact was enough to turn his enemies into cards instantly, leaving nothing but ashes in his wake. As the battle raged on, Terry continued to unleash his fiery fury on the unsuspecting Alpha Gang team members. His fire cannon attack was swift and deadly, as he spat out fireballs with pinpoint accuracy, turning his opponents into cards with each shot. The heat eruption and magma blaster attacks that followed were equally devastating, as Terry summoned fiery volcanoes and streams of molten magma to vanquish his foes. But just when it seemed like Terry had decimated the entire Alpha Gang team, another challenger emerged from the shadows. It was Gigas, Terry's T-Rex clone, with his own set of powerful fire-breathing abilities. His spectral cancer attack was a force to be reckoned with, as he summoned purple armor and sharp spikes to pierce his opponents with deadly precision. Terry, meanwhile, continued to unleash his magma blaster attack, sending streams of burning magma at his enemies with relentless ferocity. The battle between Terry and Gigas and the Alpha Gang team members was fierce and intense, with fire and fury engulfing the forest in a blaze of glory. In the end, it was Terry's ultimate move, the Fire Scorcher, that sealed the fate of his opponents. With a mighty roar, he summoned an oversized burning meteor from his jaws and hurled it at the Alpha Gang team members, turning them into cards in a flash of searing heat. As the smoke cleared and the embers died down, Terry stood triumphant, his fiery gaze fixed on the defeated Alpha Gang team. The forest was silent once more, save for the crackling of flames and the distant roar of a victorious T-Rex. Terry had proven himself to be the ultimate fire-breathing dinosaur, a force to be reckoned with in the dinosaur world. Words. 592. It was a sunny day in the Dinosaur King world, and the Alpha Gang team members were gathered around Terry, the fire-breathing T-Rex. They were eager to see Terry showcase his impressive fire-breathing attacks on the opponent dinosaurs. Wow, Terry, we can't wait to see your volcano burst attack in action. It sounds so powerful, Max, one of the Alpha Gang members, exclaimed. Terry let out a mighty roar as he prepared to unleash his volcano burst attack. He closed his eyes and began to generate fire in them, causing them to glow with intense heat. Fireballs started to form in his mouth, and he breathed fire onto the ground, creating a fiery pathway that propagated towards the opponent dinosaur. The fiery pathway reached the opponent and engulfed them in flames, turning them into a card instantly. The Alpha Gang members cheered in excitement at Terry's incredible power. That was amazing, Terry. Your volcano burst attack is truly unstoppable, Zoe, another Alpha Gang member, remarked. But Terry wasn't done yet. He had more fire-breathing attacks up his sleeve. He unleashed his blazing spin attack, where he generated fireballs in his mouth and used his fiery jaws to grab the opponent dinosaur. He spun the opponent in his jaws, completely engulfing them in flames before releasing them, turning them into a card. Next, Terry performed his burning dash attack. He generated fireballs in his mouth and grabbed the opponent in his fiery jaws, ramming them into the wall and breathing fire from his jaws while still holding the opponent momentarily until they completely turned into a card. The Alpha Gang members were in awe of Terry's fiery power. They watched as he unleashed his firebomb attack, jumping high up into the air with a fireball still in his mouth. He crashed down on the opponent, completely engulfing them in flames and turning them into a card. As Terry continued to showcase his fire-breathing attacks, the Alpha Gang members were thrilled by his strength and ferocity. They watched as he used his fire cannon attack, spitting out fireballs like a dragon and shooting them at the opponent, engulfing them in flames until they turned into a card. But the strongest fire-breathing attack was yet to come. Terry unleashed his Fire Scorcher attack, emitting an oversized burning meteor from his mouth and throwing it at the opponent, instantly defeating them and turning them into a card. Gigas, it's your turn to showcase your fire-breathing powers, Max said to Terry's T-Rex clone. Gigas growled in response and activated his spectral cancer attack, using his glowing purple eyes to summon armor around himself. He then generated sharp-bladed spikes on his body, pointing forward to stab the opponent until they turned into a card. Terry and Gigas worked together, using their magma blaster attacks to breathe fiery streams of magma at the opponent like dragons. They then combined their powers to perform the volcano burst attack, summoning a massive fire horde at the opponent's spot and turning them into a card. The Alpha Gang members cheered and celebrated Terry and Gigas' victory. They were amazed by the dinosaurs' incredible fire-breathing abilities and couldn't wait to see what other powerful attacks they had in store. As the sun began to set, Terry and Gigas roared triumphantly, their fiery breath creating a spectacular display in the sky. The Alpha Gang members knew that with Terry and Gigas on their team, they were unstoppable in their quest to become the ultimate Dinosaur King champions. Words. 587.